Okay, I think it's time to start while people connecting from the EGEC members. So, good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this new webinar for the EGEC members to introduce our new members. As you may have known, early 2024, we started to have more than 200 members in EGEC with 25 new members in 2023, and already in 2024, in the first semester, we had already more than 20 new members also. So it means that it's a growing membership for EGEC, and we all thank you for being member of EGEC, and we hope you enjoy the service we provide to you. And indeed, to welcome these new members and to introduce them to our members, we organize this webinar. This webinar is a short presentation of the members, and this presentation is recorded and after is available online on our YouTube channel for also people not able to attend today. So who are the new members we present you today? 6 new members. We will start with, sorry, my slide is moving too fast. We'll start with Metal One from UK, and after we will fly to Switzerland to give the floor to Swiss Geoenergy, then to Norway for Fishbones, going to Alpha 8 to UK, Rotaqua to Hungary, and Tomax for also UK. So you can see 6 different members from 6 different angles, so more from the financial sector, more from the subsurface, the drilling industry, project development, equipment manufacturer. So it will be our pleasure to give the floor to these new members to explain a bit what are their activities in the geothermal and how it can be of interest for other members to network and to partner with them. So in the order we have on the list here, I will first give the floor to Sinnosuke from Metal One.
Okay, so can I start?
Yes, I will stop sharing and I will give you the floor to present you Metal One. So Sinnosuke, the floor is yours.
So could you see my screen?
It's coming, it's here, full screen mode for perfect, floor is yours.
Okay. So let me start presentation from Metal One, UK. So I'm Sinnosuke Yamaguchi from Metal One UK, UK office of Metal One Group. And let me briefly explain about Metal One Corporation. Firstly, so let me briefly explain Metal One Corporation. Metal One is the biggest comprehensive steel trading company in Japan that are handling all types of steel, like automotive, constructions, and energy sectors, and home appliance, and etc. Our headquarters is in Tokyo with more than 10,000 people all over the world, with more than 150 branches all over the world. So our parent conglomerate trading company, Mitsubishi and Sojitz, decided to spin out their steel trading companies, and that merged, and that is Metal One. So our history as a Metal One is only 20 years. But so obviously our knowledge and supply record and history is more than 20 years for trading. So we are selling 20 million tons per year for all sectors, and our sales is about 16 billion US dollars per year. So could you go to the next slide? Okay, so before I explain in detail these slides, let me explain about our tubing business. So we have a distinct capability that clearly differentiate us from other trading companies. The Metal One tubular connections logo symbolics the functions of our technical engineers group teams. The mission of Metal One tubular connection is to provide cost-saving solutions to our customers. Within the technical groups, we design and develop connections. It's called Metal One Connections. It's our own design. So we have capability to design any connections tailor-made basis to meet the specific requirement of each customers. So since we doesn't have manufacturing line factories by ourselves, we supply connections to customers by licensing them to machine shop and mills. Before selecting these partners, so we conduct technical audit, of course, to ensure they meet our requirements. We also carry out periodical technical audit to maintain qualities because this is top priority for us. So by selecting these mills and machine shops, we are able to offer tubes with Metal One connections at competitive price and good quality to our customers. Okay, so let's talk about what Metal One's connection strategies. The Metal One connections we developed position as same premium connections. It is between API connection and premium connections. We evaluate whether Metal One connections can be used as a cost-effective alternatives to expensive premium connections, or if they're using Metal One connections appropriately, Metal One connections can contribute to cost reductions, either directly or indirectly. So as you can see, the left side, this shows where Metal One connection is positioned. It's like just between API and the premium connections. It's very balanced cost and qualities. So we have our own developed design. We have three types: pin abutment families and Supermax family and Max family. And there's some explanation. It's summary under the bottom of the right side. This is explanation for pin abutment family that have our most famous connection, geothermal connection, Geocon. So it's pretty interchangeable with API buttress. So if the customer is using API buttress, it is interchangeable, and it is the big merit, and avoidance of million rotation during field end up, and also no turbulence inside the pipes. So it's lead to improvement of the flow efficiency, and also mitigation of scale building up inside pipe. And we also have high torque resistance and high sealability. And also it does not happen economical impact by changing from other the API connection to this geocon. This is a summary of our advantages. Okay, could you go to the next one? Sorry, could you? Thank you. Yes, this is this says geocon. This design was born to meet customers' requirement for geothermal business, specific for geothermal business. Of course, it's also used in oil and gas, but it's originally intended to meet requirement for geothermal business. And so this shows a little bit detail about the size. It's 0.4.5 to 20 inches, and as I explained, it interchangeable with API buttress casing. And we have more than 50 million speed delivered all over the world, and a high torque shoulder version is available. And the bottom MO40P, it's not it's under development. It's almost completed. It's not geocon, so it's a little bit confusing, but it's different type of pin abutment families. So it's lineup of the pin abutment family. It's not geocon. Okay, we should go to next one. So this is shows Sakura record. It's using all over the world and it's America and also APAC regions, like Indonesia, Philippines, and that kind of countries. For geothermal generation usage as well, power generation usage as well. And also, as you are interested in, it's spreading to European regions, and we have many experience in that kind of a region. So uh, we are now trying to like expand this business because we believe this will fit your some customers we can provide some solution to the customers. So if you are interested in our geothermal connections, we are welcome to have a more detailed discussion on the technical and more commercial side. So thank you very much for your listening.
Thanks a lot, Shinosuke, for this nice presentation. Do you have some question to Shinosuke and to Metal One? Maybe I start with one, Shinosuke. So thank you for your presentation. We know that it's not an easy business now to supply these tubes to geothermal because it's not always easy to predict when the drilling will be done in a geothermal well with permitting and so on. So maybe a first question to you is that what you will see as a good solution in Europe to better support you to have a delivery on time of your equipment for the drilling. Do we need more standardization in Europe? What do you think we would need?
Mm. So we are also directly working. Uh, so we are working with directly from our side to the customers, and this is one way to work. And the other side, we also have now have partners in Europe, and also we are considering to have the stock business in Europe as well.
Okay.
This will provide some solutions to customers. Yeah,
Mhm.
and also the license business, as I explained. So we are providing license to European customers, European sludging mill and also pipe mill machine shop. So by doing that, it's indirectly we are supporting we are providing geocon to the customers because some mills in the Europe have our license, so
Mhm.
customers can get that can geocon very quickly
Okay.
than exporting from Asian country or
The
this is
different
how
factories you have over the world. Okay.
yes yes.
I just look at if the best is you raise your hand and we open your mic if you have any question. Maybe I have a second question to you, Shinosuke, that in Europe today, which country are most interesting for your business? Do you see a particular country where you have opportunities for developing your business?
So we are now supplying some countries already, and France and Germany and
Mhm.
Netherlands and also other countries as well. But so as your association is investigating some future trends, so there are now other countries also growing up so rapidly to green societies.
Mhm.
So we are now how can I say investigating which countries we are um, how can targeting.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you, Shinosuke. I don't know if else any reason, not yet, but indeed it's part of the market report. Maybe you have all seen of the market report published this summer. Now I personally did a mistake in my analysis of a market development because I was expecting in 2024 a record number of wells to drill in Europe. But at contrario, it was not a number of wells drilled in Europe for geothermal. It was a record of 3D seismic exploration campaign. It means that many projects are postponed to next year or the year after because more exploration is done today, especially to explore greenfield areas. So probably we expect a lot of wells to be drilled in 25 and even more in 2026. Thank you, Sinnosuke.
Thank you very much.
And with that, so we fly from Japan, UK to Switzerland. I give the floor to Eric Léotre for presenting Swiss Geoenergy, so the market development in Switzerland. The floor is yours, Eric.
Good morning, all. Can you hear me fine?
I confirm.
Great. Thank you, Philippe, for your invitation. Thanks to EGEC. And I think I'm sharing my screen now. All good?
Yes, I confirm.
Great. So indeed, we are flying to Switzerland, and it relates very well to your latest comment, Philippe, about 3D acquisition and drilling, because this is at the heart of our current activities. So I'm going to talk to you about Swiss Geoenergy, SGE. My name is Eric. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of the company. We're based in Switzerland. Our DNA is geoscience, but we go far beyond that. I'll explain to you. And we are interested in all the energy sector with a focus on geothermal business. Yeah. Let me take you through our skills, what we hope to bring to geothermal industry on our current projects. Well, this is a very nice picture of the fields somewhere north of Lausanne, where you can see a seismic truck. That photo has been taken last year during our 3D acquisition campaign. Yeah, that was covering one of our permit. So, you know, I think it shows very well that we are, you know, an operator. You know, beyond that, you know, Swiss Geoenergy is part of a bigger group. The name is Attera. Attera Group, I'll show you the different branches, but essentially within Attera, our role is to be, you know, project developers for geothermal projects in Switzerland primarily, but also beyond Switzerland across Europe, and probably one day, you know, even further than Europe. We are a private company, you know, and we are based in Geneva. Yeah, this is what we are. Talking about the group, so this slide describes the different parts of the group. So Attera Group consists of a consultancy branch, which is the historic one. We have about 50 staff based in Geneva, mainly. Some of them are now based in Kuala Lumpur in Asia. And it covers the entire spectrum of geoscience and engineering disciplines. This was the building block of what is now Attera Group. We have added beyond consultancy, we have added an investment branch, Attera Synergy. And next to that, we have built recently over the last 2-3 years a number of operating subsidiaries for the different themes. We are here to talk about geothermal energy today, but there's also branches focusing on lithium direct extraction, on CCUS, and on you know, battery storage. So our strength is that as an operating company, you know, planning to operate geothermal cogeneration plants in Switzerland and Europe, we can you know, rely on the technical skills of the, you know, of the consulting branch. Speaking of that, indeed, Attera Consultancy, the mother company, has a lot of experience in terms of geothermal studies, from feasibility to detailed studies across the entire world in different geological contexts, different technologies. You know, I have to say we are, you know, technology agnostics. You know, so we've been reviewing for different. I mean, the group has been reviewing for different clients in different basins. All the usual technologies, from shallow geothermal to deep and even EGS/AGS technologies. So again, this is the backbone. This consultancy experience has been the backbone for developing our own projects within SG. I've just mentioned it. You know. Geothermal is not only about geoscience on geology. It's a key part of it. On the, you know, myself being from the subsurface industry, I can only relate to that. But we are convinced that geothermal industry will not be successful if we only look at geoscience. So, we're trying to cover the entire spectrum when we develop and execute projects from, geology, geophysics, operations, fluid flow dynamics, well engineering, surface engineering, and also all the regulatory and commercial aspects. So we have, SG again can rely on the skills of the mother company, of the consultants that are working for Actera. In terms of technologies, again, we are technology agnostics. This slide describes, something all of you know very well, of course, the different sort of, geothermal technologies on definition. So the message here is that, we are developing, we are involved in all sorts of, in all the technologies from shallow to deep. What we are not involved with is, what we call in Switzerland petrothermal system, which means fracking, essentially, or AGS. We are not involved in that. I'll come to the assets that we have in Switzerland. We plan to develop them and operate them with hydrothermal systems, meaning deep wells that do rely on the natural permeability of fractures. In the case of Switzerland, we have to rely on fractures. I mean, we all know that at the heart of Switzerland, the Alpine deformation has caused many tectonic accidents, and our assets are ideally placed along those accidents to yield the fluids from the conductive faults on the associated fractures. So this is how we intend to operate the assets that we have in Switzerland at the moment. Talking about assets, it's a beautiful topographic map of Switzerland. The assets that we have are located in what is called the Molas Basin. Switzerland has got three geological domains, essentially the northern part, which is the Jura plateau on the Jura fold, and then the middle part is the Molas Basin. On the south part, obviously, is the Alpine domain. The Molas Basin has got a number of aquifers that have been explored. I guess one thing that's different maybe from some other European countries, and is worth noting, is that unlike France, like Germany, unlike some of the Eastern countries, I'm thinking about Croatia, Hungary, Switzerland has never been an oil and gas country. And it is creating some subsurface risks, meaning there are less data available for developers like us. But it also creates opportunities. And we all know that, well, I guess, EGEC members all know that Switzerland is #1, I think, in the world, certainly in Europe, about when it comes to heat pumps, so shallow geothermal systems, and this is great. But it's quite far behind in terms of development of deep geothermal system. And I believe one of the reasons is that there's less data available. There's a bit more subsurface uncertainty. Yeah. So at the core of the Swiss Confederation strategy is acquisition of data, incentives when it comes to 3D seismic data acquisition, exploration wells, incentives to help reduce that uncertainty. And we are a key player in that strategy, along with others. But I have to mention that we are the only one that is, entirely private. Yeah. So we hope that we bring some industry perspective, some mindset with the project end in mind. This is what we hope to bring to the Swiss ecosystem. And for that, we have been granted 2 assets. One is in the north of Lausanne, that's called the Eklepan, and the other one is a bit further northeast, close to Neuchâtel. Yeah. It's called Labroix. So I'll just give you some basic information about those 2 now. Again, we are here at the north of Lausanne. The city is called Eklepan. That's why we call the project Eklepan. We've been granted a permit of about 100 square kilometers, on which we acquired 3D seismic last year. It went very well. went as per plan, below budget. So, very good operation that we undertook. The objective is to build a cogeneration plant, meaning obviously power and heat. We think that the geothermal anomaly that was detected by one of the very few, indeed, oil and gas wells in the 80s is demonstrating, conductive path along the major fault in the area. So on this is high enough enthalpy that we can hope to produce electricity. Some rough numbers to give you a sense of the project. About 30 megawatt of thermal capacity on more than 2-3 megawatt power will be installed. We are currently in the phase of interpreting the 3D seismic data in-house. There's very interesting features appearing from a very dense 3D cube. I mean, we're talking 1 to 2 million traces per square kilometer, per cubic kilometer, at the center of the campaign. And the target is a fractured carbonate in the Trias of Trias age at about 3 to 3.5 kilometer deep. So we will have a decision point early January next year for FID for the drilling. So indeed, as Philippe mentioned, we are one of those who will likely be drilling exploration wells in Switzerland in 2026. That was the first project. The second one is called Labroix. Again, this is an area, a bit further east of the first one. Massive area. The reason is that similar to Eclépan, what is key in our mind is, most of you know that, of course, is that we try to fit relatively certain resource with existing needs. And similar to Eclépan, where we have existing distance CAD, we call it CAD, heat network. We have existing heat network in Eclépan. Similarly, this area has got many different end users that have existing heat networks that need to be decarbonized. So it's another place where there is a perfect fit between very likely heat resource and existing users at surface. So it's the perfect recipe for a successful project. We will be embarking on a massive 3D acquisition, more than 400 square kilometers. What makes it quite specific is that it's split between different cantons. Something you're probably not aware is that unlike other countries, the subsurface is owned and managed by the different cantons in Switzerland. There are 27 of them, if I'm not mistaken. So in that particular area, we have to manage the subsurface regulation of 3 different cantons. But this is going well, and we hope to we will be executing this 3D acquisition, this 3D seismic acquisition at the end of next year. And following that, we will be drilling several wells, 3 wells, probably 3 exploration wells, to yield heat to the different end users in the area. So very exciting projects. And I think I'll end up with this slide to tell you that myself and my colleagues, Benjamin, who is the CEO of the company, and Pascal, who is the CTO, I guess we bring a wealth of expertise in terms of geoscience, engineering, project management, industry. And this is the DNA of the company. We hope to accelerate the transition, especially in Switzerland, but beyond. We're looking at projects at the moment in Croatia, Hungary. Our objective is to develop the portfolio for obvious risk mitigation reasons, for scale-up synergies. And we are very happy to welcome partners on our projects, and to also be active partners in other projects. And with that, I guess I will finish my talk and take any questions you have. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Yes, quite interesting to see the development indeed you're doing in Switzerland. Do we have some questions to Eric? Because I have some to you. So you explained to us indeed you have done a 3D seismic campaign. First question is that you do in-house treatment of data acquired. I know that you are quite an innovative company, so are you envisaging to use also some intelligent artificial tool to help data treatment? First question. And second question, you say you'll do some exploration drilling in the future. I think we have not seen in Europe for 15 years. I think the last one was 2010, 2011, slim hole in Turkey. Are you envisaging some slim hole in Switzerland, or it's a no-go option because it's too costly for no production?
Yeah, thanks for your question, Philippe. I'll take the first one on seismic treatment. The processing is done by partners, third-party companies. I mean, I can name them. I've got no issues. We're working with RTS on the one hand, on Geogals on the other hand for the seismic processing, which we follow very closely. So again, it's the way we work is we are very involved, and we don't just delegate the work. We are very involved because we have all the technical skills. We've got a team of about 10 geophysicists, staff plus consultants. So we are very involved in when we delegate work to other specialists. It's not envisaged yet to use neural network or IA. We are, I have to say, I mean, I can't say too much because it's a bit commercially sensitive, but we are testing those tools for clients elsewhere. So at some point there'll be a decision. And I guess the starting point for us is with the current product on the current kind of, classic interpretation, how far can we go in terms of de-risking those assets? And then there'll be a discussion on, can we take it further on the sort of cost-benefit ratio analysis? Yeah. So again, I'm welcoming any EGEC members to get in touch with us if they have any ideas on this or solutions to propose. Yeah, very much. Your second question was about drilling and slim holes, right?
Yeah, it's something we have nothing in Europe for many years. I don't know if...
Well, there's been exploration drilling in Switzerland in the last years. I mean, there's been Vinzel, there's been La Vallée-Bain, there's been Yverdon. So there's been some drilling, quite shallow, to be honest. The target for those projects that were managed and executed by other companies in Switzerland, those targets were quite shallower. And were only meant to provide a heat on that was the Dogger formation, Malm and Dogger, with mixed results, I have to say. But nevertheless, indeed, there's still plenty of energy in Switzerland because there's been plenty of learning from those operations. It's right that we will be going quite deeper. So instead of going at drilling to 1,500, 2,000 meters, will be drilling to 3,500 meters. So much deeper in different formations that have been less explored. On just to finish off on your question, yes, we'll be looking at the slim hole drilling. On other ones, other companies are also considering this in Switzerland for the other projects. The way we've looked at it is we've looked at it in terms of course, cost, impact, and impact on data acquisition. It's to us the two key parameters that we want to reduce uncertainty about is temperature and rates. On temperature, you can get it with quite small slim holes. Rates on flow, kind of DST type or flow test, you need big enough, final OD downhole. And overall, we felt, and we've worked with our well engineers and also other specialist companies to come up with this sort of cost-benefit analysis. Our conclusion was that the price difference is not big enough to justify a reduced data collection. Yeah, so we will be going for a proper wellbore. The reason being as well, it all depends on the cost, on the chance of success. If your cost is so low that that your success case is at risk, then you can justify your slim hole. But in our case, the cost is high enough that it makes more sense to go for proper exploration well that can be then turned into a producer or an injector.
Yeah, thanks for this clarifying. Perfectly understood, Eric. analysis, and indeed we share that also in other markets in Europe. It's why we have not seen such a development also elsewhere in Europe. Thank you. And now let's move to Norway. We stay in the underground and we give the floor to Josh to explain the tools developed by Fishbones. Josh, the floor is yours.
Morning. I'll share my screen. Let me very quickly introduce myself. I work for Fishbones AS. We're based in Stavanger, Norway. I'm the geothermal business development manager. Fishbones has been active in the geothermal market since October 2023. We are a company that is working worldwide on oil and gas projects, and our technology we're sure can make a big difference also for geothermal developments. I have a lot of experience. I have 42 years in the oil and gas industry and 1 year in the geothermal industry. And hopefully that will help in defining and working on projects. What we do worldwide for the oil and gas industry, and then hopefully also for the geothermal industry, we have developed an effective non-frac reservoir stimulation technology. And that technology is dependent on running a liner. That is what we do. Let me explain. First, to show you where we are worldwide. As I said, we have a head office in Stavanger, Norway. We have a regional office in the Middle East, in Abu Dhabi. We work onshore and offshore in most regions, from China to Canada. And the jobs that have been done worldwide have, without fail, been very successful operationally and technically. We've achieved up to 10 times the production performance from wells compared to the field averages that the operators were working with. The last well, just to give you one example, in the Middle East, a well in Abu Dhabi, an offshore field in a fractured carbonate reservoir, was doing on average 300 barrels a day. Best well in the field, 600 barrels a day. We did reservoir stimulation, and the well is now chugging along already 9 months at 3,700 barrels a day. Just to give you an impression of how good the stimulation can deliver that. We have 49 staff of 17 nationalities, and like I said, we're working worldwide and growing our business. What does the system involve? The system is run as an open hole liner, just like a slotted or a pre-perforated liner. In the liner string, we space out what we call fishbone subs. And from those subs, hollow titanium needles that are fitted either with a drill bit at the tip or a rotating jetting nozzle are drilled or jetted out simultaneously from all the subs in one pumping operation into the reservoir rock. The fishbone subs can be spaced out all along the liner string, and we can fit a maximum of 80 subs on the string, dependent on the length of the open hole, of course. And that would allow you a very large number of laterals to be created in a short time. We have two systems. On the left here is the Fishbones jetting system, which the needles are fitted with a rotating jetting nozzle at the tip. The working fluid is then an acid, typically hydrochloric acid at 15%, but strengths can differ. That is used for stimulating carbonate reservoirs, but also can be used for cobalt, methane, and oil sands. But that is for this purpose of geothermal development not so relevant. So carbonates. What each lateral does, it creates a 12-meter long lateral with 1 to 2 inch diameter. There are 4 needles per sub, so they go up, down, left, and right if you look down the well. And we can fit 80 subs on the string. So you can create in one pumping job 320 laterals maximum of 12-meter length. On the right is the Fishbones drilling system, where the needles are tipped with a bit. Bit differs depending on the rock type. We can do anything: sandstones, shales, basement rock, metamorphic, fractured metamorphics, granites, basalts. We've done everything already. And the needles create half-inch diameter holes, and the needle lengths are 10 to 18 meters. The innovative part of the design is that in each liner joint, which is connected to the Fishbone sub that you see here on the right, that turbines, just like a hydroelectric dam, are energized by pumping with the rig pumps fluid down the hole, just the fluid that you have in the well. And the turbines move forward, extending the needles out into the reservoir. Like I said, any type of reservoir. We have two sizes available currently: a 4.5-inch liner for 6 to 6.5-inch open hole, a 5.5-inch liner for 8.5-inch open hole, with all materials being available to match the liner specifications that the client would have. And we're very busy building a 7-inch liner system that would allow us to anchor in 12.25-inch up to 12.25-inch open hole, and that will be ready mid next year. Just to show you what the system actually would look like for one needle from a single sub, as you see here in our facility in Stavanger. The red line indicates the needle going through in this case, large sandstone blocks that have been strapped together on the facility floor, and the needle goes out in about 1 hour. It drills that, in this case, drills the 10 meters through the sandstone blocks. It's not stopped by anything. It's not stopped by gaps, fractures, cemented layers. It will just go and drill through. And as you can see, it goes out at an angle. The starting angle is about 37 degrees. And then it curves away from the well, and it ends up perpendicular to the well at, in this case, a distance of 10 meters, giving you 8.5 meters perpendicular to the well. The drilled system has 3 needles per sub, and they go out at 120-degree phasing. So how simple is it to deploy this? Very simple. Basically, you drill your well to TD, you draw back your drill string, you deploy the lower completion string, which is the liner, which is fitted with Fishbone subs in open hole to the terminal depth. You anchor the string in the reservoir interval by inflating backbone anchors. Then you start the pumping job with the rig pumps for the drilled system to activate the Fishbone system, or with acid, you use the acid pump. The power fluid that is pumped is acid in the jetted system, and drilling mud or geothermal reservoir water or brine with the drill system. So with the drill system, you can just use what is already in the well just to start the system. There's even not a change out needed. The job itself is 4 to 6 hours to extend all the needles simultaneously into the reservoir. So it's a very quick job. And we've done jobs offshore Norway for Equinor and Aker BP, very successful jobs. And that's about the time that it takes, even with very large systems. So 61 subs is the maximum we've pumped at the moment. And next year, we will do a large job for Equinor in an offshore field, which features 80 subs with 18-meter needles. So that is 240 drilled needles, 18 meters long. You do the math, that's a fantastic ROP if you can do that in 4 to 6 hours. So what is the value of this technology? Now, in many wells that are drilled and completed, the damage zone around the wellbore is quite considerable. My experience and view is that damage zone gives a huge skin in many wells. It's a bit underestimated. And bypassing that damage zone with many laterals punching through the damage zone into the reservoir already gives you a very big improvement in the well performance, both on the injection wells and on the production wells. It definitely increases reservoir exposure because you can place these subs and then create the laterals all along your wellbore in both vertical, deviated, horizontal wells where you want. So you become like a surgeon. You can operate on somebody's brain, but you don't have to operate on his stomach at the same time. And so it gives you back the control that is lacking with many other stimulation methods. The system is especially good in connecting through layered reservoirs because the system is a mechanical stimulation system. It can punch through all kinds of layering, lamination, and bedding. And many of the geothermal reservoirs in Europe, both the Permian, the Triassic, the Jurassic, and the tertiary reservoirs that you see all over Europe, they're very layered. What it also does, and it's very good at, it's connecting to and through natural fractures. So it connects to open natural fractures and it punches through closed natural fractures, so alleviating, mitigating against compartmentalization. In karstic reservoir, like you have in the Malm in Switzerland and in Germany, it would be good at connecting to sweet spots, karstic sweet spots and lenses. And the impact here is in combination. You reduce the drawdown in your producer wells and you much reduce the injection pressure for your injection wells. The injection distribution is much improved. It's rapid and operationally robust. And there's a lot less HSE exposure and greenhouse gas footprint. Just to give you the table at the bottom, the Fishbones drilling has about 100 of the CO2 ton load that hydraulic fracking would have. The Fishbones jetting is less than the acid fracturing, and it delivers a much better distribution of the acid because the acid only goes through the needles at the positions that the subs are located by the operator's team in the reservoir. So that is my presentation, and if people are interested, my details are in the first slide. Like I said, the performance improvement, and I'll stop sharing here. The performance improvement worldwide has been spectacular. The least that we've seen is about 2 times the productivity on the wells and injectivity. The best is about 12 times the productivity, and that has been repeated in many different countries. The last job in China in metamorphic reservoir did 3 times better than the operators' other wells in the entire field. Offshore Norway, the results for Aker BP and Equinor have been very good as well. Aker BP in the Edvard Grieg field, there's papers on that, 10 times better than the other wells in the field. And these are all long horizontal wells that were perforated and cemented, and this stimulation method does better than that. And in Europe, fracking is not the favored stimulation method. Sometimes you would like to do that, but you cannot because of all kinds of regulation, seismicity risk, and especially in Central and Western Europe, Switzerland, Germany, the Netherlands, Denmark, UK, fracking is frowned upon, and many companies have seen their projects being stalled or even stopped by authorities because of seismicity risk. So this is a non-frac method, and it allows you to stimulate your reservoir effectively in a very short time and at much lower cost than a fracking solution would involve in terms of expenditure. That is it, Philip. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, really interesting new technology, and I see that Eric wants to intervene. So, Eric?
Yes, thank you, Jess, for very interesting presentation. I've got one question on the comment. My question is, my gut feel is that it's more about indeed damage reduction than pure productivity index improvement considering the diameter. But can you comment on that? On do you have data, skin assessment through buildups, pressure buildup prior and after the job? Do you have data to elaborate on this? On the second rated question is it seen more as a technology for remediation of productivity failures, or do you see people now considering it as the base plan? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Eric. I'll start with the second question. It can be used, the system is used in open hole. So basically, it's a system that would be used for new wells. It should be part of the base plan. And that's what we see in the Middle East, that operators are changing their field development plans after seeing the results from these stimulations, to include the fishbone stimulation right from the word go. So they drill the well, pull back the drill string from after having reached TD, do the stimulation job, and then that also allows the well to come online much quicker. You don't need to wait for a stimulation job to happen much later, and especially offshore, that is a key advantage. And also in areas which are, for instance, mountainous, like in Switzerland, where access may be more difficult because it's urban, doing everything in one job has major advantages. Remediation can be done, but it would require the well to have an open hole section in which the open hole liner system can be run and anchored. So that may require a workover. We have a cased hole system in development, but for geothermal wells, I would be afraid that the flow rates would not be high enough for making the well really commercially attractive. This is the problem with remediation jobs typically, also with perforations. So that's the first question. The second question is it an effect just in terms of skin? No, we don't think so. So even if the well would have little skin around the well, the superior connectivity that you would get through a complex reservoir, so both vertically and laterally, many of the reservoirs that people are working with are much more heterogeneous than is realized. And people that have gone through that in detail would realize that modeling is a simplification of the heterogeneity. So if you can't model the heterogeneity, you would not see and not realize that there's a lot of impact in doing things differently downhole and stimulating with a system that has a very dense, creates a very dense access of laterals to the reservoir and all its complexity, both structural, sedimentological, diagenetically. On top of the question that you asked on skin, yes, there are some papers on that. Times this data is not shared with us by the operator.
Thank you, yes, for this clarification. I see that time is running and we still have more members to present, but yeah, perfect, yes. And maybe something I noticed is that you have also a project in Hungary, and Eric, you mentioned productivity, but we know the issue there is also reinjection, and maybe we could also look at this option for reinjection well. But let's discuss that in another webinar because we have to move on. So thanks again, Yash. And I will give the floor now to Vittorio Stefani from Alpha 8 Partners to explain us a bit what they are doing in the geothermal business. Vittorio, the floor is yours.
Sure. Thanks, Philippe. It's very nice to meet you all. Alpha 8 is, I don't have slides, by the way, because as a family office, we like to be, under the radar, keep our principals safe. We're a single family office out of London. We've got an office in London, but our principal is German. He's a third generation shipping owner. And so he's been investing in many things over the past 10, 15 years. And given his shipping background, he's had exposure to the energy business, transporting oil and energy chemicals and whatnot. and recently became quite interested and passionate about geothermal and the energy transition in general, with the huge tailwinds that are in Europe and decarbonizing all of its ships and whatnot. There were many synergies, and so we started looking into it. He already invested in GA drilling and quays before the family office even got set up. The family office got set up last year in May. And since then, we've grown to 4 or 5 employees. So we're still a small family office, not in terms of assets and management, but more in terms of team. And since the family office started, we also invested in Sage, and we like to get board seats. So we're on the board at GA Drilling, we're on the board at Sage, and then also recently in March of this year, we invested into a project alongside Zero Geo Energy. We invested in a project in Germany, so trying to get some technologies working there, because it's obviously very deep and into hard rock, and it's near Celle, so we hope we won't get any supply chain issues, but it's still a long way to go. We're applying for permits very soon, and the way we did that project, first of all, it's giving us a lot of learnings for any other projects we would like to do. We would like to, as Swiss Geo Energy, we would like to do multiple projects to de-risk, let's say, or have a portfolio risk instead of just one project risk. And we've got a lot of learnings from that project already, just even before permit applications. And we, how shall we say this? We've got many other projects we want to go on a land grab into Germany or into other countries, work with Zero Geo on other projects. We're in contact with many other project developers. But that's how we kind of look at this project. We invest into technologies and then invest in projects and try to bridge the gap between those two, because at the moment, a lot of those technologies sitting out there are at tier 4, 5, 6, and are desperately looking for projects to being able to prove themselves. And the fact is, and what we're seeing in the market at the moment is that all those technologies are trying to raise money at the moment to start developing their own projects, because it's just they can't, or they have difficulties just getting into the ground and prove that their technologies are working. So we're trying to bridge this gap, and that's what we're trying to do in the next few months. So I'll keep it there and get it open to questions. But our branding is in the works. That's why we don't have a slide. We don't have a good website. You might, if you type in Alpha 8 in Google, you might be on a furniture website. We're working on all of this, and hopefully it will get up and running in the next few weeks and months. But I'll stop there and be open to questions.
Yes, thank you, Vittorio. Indeed, we have discovered our Alpha 8 indeed with a partnership you have done in Germany with Zero Energy. So indeed, the name pop up this summer with this first project. So indeed, you start to be more known also in the European business. Do you have some questions to Vittorio? Because I have one for you. It's what is the best profile you are looking at in Europe? You mentioned Germany, a specific project using also new technology. So what is exactly the profile of partnership you're looking at?
I mean, that's an interesting question. We've got real estate or a real estate portfolio in Portugal. So we would love to do geothermal, whether it be heating or power in Portugal, with very good local policy connections. But in terms of profile from a developer's perspective, I mean, we know Zero Geo very well. We have Tony Pink on board as an independent consultant. Maybe that name rings a bell to some people. And he's going, he's very well connected into developers, and he's doing the first kind of technical DD on people or on developers before we even get in touch with them. We're in touch with Ignis, we're in touch with a lot of different developers. What we're looking for specifically, I mean, it's difficult. At the moment, they all come to you and say, we're ex-oil and gas people. And that's no one comes to, I mean, or very little people come to us and say, we've got 25 years or 30 years in the geothermal, specifically on geothermal. They're all oil and gas people trying to get into the transition. But yeah, we're learning every day. We're as a family office are not typical oil and gas, or we're getting people onboarded into the family office. But at the moment, we're using a lot of external consultants to get educated and to see the best opportunities out there.
Thank you, Vittorio. Do you have questions to Alpha-Aid? Yes, Eric. Floor is yours.
Vittorio, thank you for your presentation. How do you see geothermal in your energy portfolio? I guess you are investing in different energy sectors. In terms of strength on the weaknesses, as an investor, what would be the key weakness of geothermal that you need to remove for a proper scale up?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I think the problem in Europe is as you all know, it's a very fragmented market. It's a market with so many different legislations, and with fracking that's being banned, and the cost of drilling that's huge, and the amount of drilling rigs that's missing. And that's why we're kind of looking into the US a lot as well, like into, Houston and Texas and Nevada and all that, all those interesting countries where what we see missing in Europe. And when you talk to policymakers, they'll say, for example, in France and, all these different countries have different geopolitics or energy strategies. But when you're talking to some people, they say, we're super bullish on heating and getting heating out of the ground, and not so much on power. Geothermal at the moment in our energy portfolio is I would say 80%. We're super bullish on geothermal. The only thing is our principal is not, his objective, his first objective is not to make a return on this. He wants to unlock it. And so he's willing to take a risk. He's willing to take, he's just willing to take a risk to go deep, to find power and to prove it, because it hasn't been proven commercially in Europe yet. Fervo is doing a good job in the US, even though the commerciality will remain to be proven. But yeah, I don't know if that somewhat answers your question, but it's I think in Europe for power there's still a lot of challenges from a supply chain perspective, from a cost perspective, that's what we're seeing at the moment. And then community, people just don't understand what fracking really entails. Like seismicity is what is the force of it can be between 1 and 2. It's as if a bus was, or as if Taylor Swift was doing a concert next to your, not far from your home, right? And people just don't understand this. So it's also community education is also a big part that needs to play in the geothermal strategy in Europe.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vittorio, for this clarification. Indeed, we share quite some statements you have just mentioned, and probably it's a topic we will deep dive in other webinars or events of EGEC, but we have to move on. Time is running, and it's time to fly to Hungary, and to have a pleasure to give the floor to Maria for presenting Rotaqua. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, good morning. Nice to meet you. First of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation for this webinar. My name is Maria Csecsei. I am Marketing and Business Support Manager on behalf of Rotaqua Limited. Our company was, please, my slide. Our company was founded by the EGEC Uranium Mining Company from its exploration and drilling branch in 1990. The Manchester organization implemented the exploration of drilling works connected to the Hungarian uranium prospecting, which covered the whole area of the country. So our first profile was geological structure research drilling. With the development of the equipment and focusing on the quality, the company reached the market leader position in its main activity area then. But as the market has changed, our company also reacted to these changes and trends, and then as a result of continuous developments, we targeted another main segment in geothermal exploration. So now our core activities are drilling of geothermal wells, I mean deep geothermal, geological structure research drillings, environmental geotechnical drillings, drilling activities for nuclear waste disposal, water well drilling, abandonment of hydrocarbon wells, project planning, underground mining drilling services, well test and reporting, and engineering services. The portfolio of Rotaqua covers a full range of professional services, which makes the company as a reliable business partner. Our expertise lies in precision drilling, advanced technology, and environmental responsibility practices, ensuring efficient extraction of geothermal resources. Last year, we became a 100% state-owned company. The ownership rights of Rotaqua are currently exercised by the Ministry of Energy, who provide maximum support and assistance for the development and growth of the company. We have strong references. Just mention one of our latest reference is 3,332 meters geothermal well in Csecsei with around 170 Celsius degree bottom. This is the deepest borehole in our history and the deepest geothermal well in Hungary. Please make slide. Thank you. But not only Hungary, we also have experience in CE also. We have wide business relations. We are in cooperation with a lot of European service companies. Our competent management and supportive state background are the key of our success. Our main values are knowledge, experience, and professional skills, professional staff, and fully operable fleet of drilling rigs and well service equipment. Respect for people and the environment is very important part of our policy. We have high standards in project management. It can prove successful tenders. We effectively use the available technology and open for innovations. Our plan is to achieve ambitious goals and expand activities into sphere of ESG with particular emphasis on local content. We believe we can prove the safest workplace and its environment. Loyalty and professionalism are more important in these days. Constant consultation, quick reaction, as well as our professional attitude are the credos of our maintaining that high quality standard is achieved through a continuous program of further education and training, special courses, postgraduate courses, safety training, language courses, and our personnel continuously take part on WellCap trainings. We are in relation with the University of Miskolc, so we can prove well-qualified young engineers also. Our main value is human resources. Please next slide. ESG strategy is an inherent part of our mission and the way to actively shape the world around us. Rotaqua understands the need to respond to the pressing challenges of present time. Being on the road to a more socially stable and environmentally safer future, we have linked the ESG strategy to the core of our business and the corporate strategy. We want to build our business on the three core pillars of the ESG, for which we have defined particular and measurable targets in 8 topics. The ESG strategy reflects the Rotaqua intention to reflect the positive approach this topic from environmental and social areas from the area of responsible corporate governance and business activities. The strategy proves us to leave positive footprint, make the world better and safer during our activities. We operating integrated management system, and our management take the QHSE as a top priority. By using these systems, the number of accidents at work, we minimize the significantly reduces the material damage resulting from accidents. Our target is 0 LTI. We are member of International Association of Drilling Contractors, International Geothermal Agency, European Geothermal Energy Council. In Hungary, we are member of Hungarian Geothermal Association and Hungarian Geothermal Cluster. Rotaqua's equipment allows the company to participate in the deep drilling or related projects. Please, my next slide. Now we have 2 rigs with top drive, which can drill up to 3,500 meters. Both of these have computer control, online access, and connection to mobile applications. We can see the actual drilling parameters, and both of them have instrument cabin, data recording system, and documentation tool. We always can have the up-to-date information. We have a fleet of exploration and environmental drilling rigs also, and we are over on a negotiation to buy a new innovative drill mag that meets the demands of our time. Just some example of these main features: self-raising mast type, 350 tons rated hook load, slingshot type substructure, electric driven top drive system, cyberchat technology, 1,500 HP triplex AC mud pump, automated power catwalk, and with AI and auto driller system. In this case, Rotaqua will be the only company on the domestic market who will have the necessary competencies and equipment so we can fulfill our mission. We can see on the next slide. Deliver high quality drilling and geothermal services in the domestic and international market. We can be the leader in sustainable energy solution, harnessing the Earth's geothermal potential to power greener, cleaner, and more prosperous future. In compliance with the Hungarian National Earth Strategy also, Rotaqua's strategy also defines the market leader position in drilling of geothermal wells. Although we are already key player in geothermal market, we are ready to grow, being the strongest on the Hungarian and Central Eastern European market, open for new challenges, new tasks, and meeting our customers' expectation. If you need the energy, we can prove it. Drilling is our passion. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your time. And I would like to say thank you for all my leaders, colleagues, to borrow me their faith and believe in me that I can be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Maria, and nice presentation. Also connecting some dots because Vittorio before was saying a lack of drilling rigs, but no, we have some drilling rigs in some countries that want to have more businesses. I had a question to you, Maya, but you answer in your last sentence the question that indeed your main business is in Hungary, but you're open also to drill in Central and Eastern European countries, I understand. So my question was answered in your last sentence. Do you have more questions to Maya? Not at that stage, so it means we'll move to the last question. And Maya, I assume that indeed with the 40 license attributed last year in Hungary, we expect a lot of drilling now to come in Hungary and a business for you in the 25 and even more in 2026, no? So good. And for the last presentation, but not the least, we give a floor to Anson Bartlett from Tomax, and I see the question is ready, so floor is yours.
Thank you, Philippe. I guess we're running out of time, so I'll fly through these slides.
We have flexibility, though. We are really flexible in
Um,
geothermal, so take your time. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. First slide, please. So very much like YOS, we're a small independent Norwegian company, with almost 18 years operation experience. We've got one product, and it's a drilling regulator. We've got sizes from 1 7/8 for through tubing, all the way up to 9.5-inch OD for the larger surface sections. We're all around the world in many different oil and gas basins, 52 employees globally. We don't put anyone into the field. Our product is very simple, plug and play. The DD or the AD can pick up the tool very easily. We've got over almost 12,000 wells now to date, and we do around about 2,000 a year. And we're on the longest ever oil and gas well in Abu Dhabi, 33,000 foot step out, over 50,000 foot MD. So we're basically a market leader in drilling efficiency and using our regulator. Next slide, please. So you can see on the right-hand side, this is just a small fraction of locations that we've drilled in the Permian. So anyone that knows the story when it comes to unconventionals in the US and energy independence, the US have driven efficiency, reliability, costs. They've driven all these to the max. So basically, they've used less rigs now and delivered more wells year on year. We've been a part of that success story where we were used or are still used on 35 to 40% of the BHAs in the Permian Basin. Our customers include ExxonMobil, BP, Oxy, Chevron, et cetera, et cetera. So, we are noted as the global leader in what we do. And, we do deliver very reliable product every single day. Next slide, please. So what is the Tomax AST? So what it is a drilling regulator. In its simplest form, it changes the depth of cut on a PDC cutter on the bit. And it does that by mechanically changing, the way that the bit interacts with the formation, and the tool works very, very quickly. It activates 5 times a second, 20 millisecond activation. So it's self-regulating the drilling efficiency on bottom. How does that help? Well, you don't lose energy to vibration. The tool will store the energy that it's absorbing and give back to the drilling process. So if you're familiar with the drilling process, when you have severe stick slip, you can, slow your ROP, you can introduce failures into your downhole tools, you can affect wellbore stability, etc. So what our tool does is basically primarily reduce or stop torsional vibration, but also you get a knock-on effect. You get less lateral, less bit bounce, less HFTO. So the tool is recognized both from the the hundreds of thousands, thousands of runs that we've had, plus we've got PhD students looking at it, writing papers, that the tool's proven in the field and academically. Next slide, please. So just a little bit of flavor on maybe Europe and some of the experiences we've got. Sorry, just one back, please. I know it was slow to change. So we've drilled a number of oil and gas wells within continental Europe, and we've got a bunch of case studies that I can share for sure. Ultimately, we supply faster ROP. We drove further by reducing bit wear and ultimately driving down that drilling cost. Geothermal is obviously very dependent and project dependent on the actual cost to drill your wells. If you want to reduce that cost, then a drilling regulator is something that should definitely be part of the makeup. Just recently, we've been partnered up with Ever in Munich for the loop system that they're drilling there, and we just drilled. I think on the 4th or 5th run, we did 2,000 meters in one run. They're pretty happy with that last one. So we'd like to partner more on the geothermal space, and take our expertise and our knowledge from oil and gas into geothermal drilling. Basically, a well's a well as far as we're concerned. If you want to reduce cost, then you should certainly consider using one of our tools. And then the last slide, please. So, like I said, we're proven, market-leading oil and gas technology, very, very simple to use. Because of the high reliability, we're a fully mechanical tool, so it's 100,000 hours our mean time between failure. We generally only supply one tool per job, up to 200 hours of drilling. We can mobilize quickly from Norway within Europe. Like I said, we've got lots of different sizes. Our temperature ratings, 200 to 220 degrees C, and there's no issue with through bore. And if you want faster RP, longer runs, less damage, and plan for fewer trips. Another thing, if you consider drilling, with a roller cone or rock bit rather than a PDC bit, we're very compatible with those as well, and can show the benefits that you'll get from a PDC. So yeah, that's really all I had. Very quick and simple.
Thanks, indeed, Anson. Quite interesting, your presentation. Just a question. I think in not the last slide, the one just before, you mentioned that also your tool is reducing noise. We see that it's like a topic now, drilling in cities now for district heating. So have you calculated what is the noise reduction you may have in decibels?
We don't, but we had a case study or a job. I think it was for RAG in Austria, and it was environmentally sensitive when it came to noise reduction, and they were experiencing high levels of noise and actually twist-offs on surface hole. So they used our tool, and basically the noise went away, and the twist-offs and damage went away as well. So absolutely, that's another consideration if surface noise is due to high torque is a problem.
Thank you. Do we have some questions? Maybe a last question to Anton before closing this webinar. Not at that stage. Yes, Eric, floor is yours.
Yeah, obviously, drilling is the main cost of a geothermal project. What's your opinion in terms of the the potential learning curve on the associated cost reduction that we should be seeing similar to other industry in other basins or other technologies. It's often the main bottleneck for project sanction. What's your view on can we have some hopes there? At which scale? Basin, Europe, much more local? Is anyone looking at this? And are there predictions on this?
Yeah, if I'm honest, when it comes to geothermal, I mean, I've got 30 years oil and gas experience, and I'm just, scratching the surface when it comes to geothermal. I think there's a lot of innovation and a lot of good ideas and development technology, and that's great. I think that's really positive. But if geothermal can borrow from oil and gas and use best in class, well, why not? You don't really need to reinvent the wheel if all you're trying to do is drill a well, then it's fine to innovate and to bring new technologies, but already use what we've got. I think would be a kind of suggestion, and I think also that maybe use lessons learned if we could share more. Again, this forum is great, but if someone's learning in Germany or someone's learning in Switzerland, France, etc., then sharing knowledge is paramount, and that's generally not really done in oil and gas for whatever reasons. People tend to keep things kind of ring fenced if they learn some lessons. But I'd say there's a lot of different challenges, obviously drilling, and the geology in Switzerland is very different to drilling a land job in maybe Germany or France or whatever, but there's still some commonality, I would say, that could be shared and learned.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anson. Yosh, last question.
Yes, that's a very interesting presentation. Just a question. Fervo in the western US and in their hot dry rock project in the granites there, they reported a 30% improvement in drilling cost. Was the AST already part of that effort as well, or would that be an opportunity in addition to what they have already achieved in optimization?
I'd have to ask the guys in the US, Jos, whether we were part of that, but certainly we're looking at geothermal for sure in the US, and geothermal is obviously a growing business. The ROI, I guess, is a little bit different, obviously, because the commodity is not oil and gas; it's heat and water. But we can still transition, I feel, technologies into geothermal for sure. But definitely the US is pushing efficiency, and if there's lessons learned from oil and gas efficiency drives in the US, then absolutely geothermal should try and adopt as many as they can if they're compatible.
Yeah, thank you for that. And maybe let's move to my conclusion to maybe explain how we can help you to exchange this expertise. So indeed, concluding the event, I want to remind you that in 1 year from now, we are meeting in Zurich for the European Geothermal Congress. Mark your calendar, 6 to 10 of October. The last edition was in Berlin in 2022, where we had 1,200 participants, 55 exhibitors. Presenters, I remind you that we extended the deadline. If you have an abstract to submit, the deadline is next week. For this event, we have sponsorship opportunities, so feel free to engage with my colleague or go to the website to see the different opportunities. Last but not least, you mentioned many of you, Yosh, and other ones, innovation, and what we are also inviting you is the Geothermal Innovation Days, which will be organized in Munich. And you mentioned also the EVOR project, and we are going to visit the Geary Street site on 22nd of November. So people interested to go to Geary Street to see the Everloop. We have a site visit on 22nd of November, and the event is on 21st of November in Munich. You go to the website Geothermal Innovation Days, and you will see, of course, we look at the innovation in drilling, but also some innovation in exploration, which are the two main topics we will look at that with some recent research project and innovation done. With that, I close this webinar. I thank you all new members for your presentation. As I mentioned, the webinar is recorded. On top of that, we will send a short note to the members about each presentation, and we hope to see you soon in the next event of EGEC. I wish you a nice day. Hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.